Well, can you believe it? Oh my God, right? It's another one of those times. It's Agnes Vivarelli. You just saw her laughing. It's Dan, RadioStyle, of course. Good times going on here, everybody. We've got a really awesome show we're going to talk about. At Your Command, one of Neville Goddard's books. Agnes has got some really brilliant quotes that we're going to look at. They might have been scribbled on a napkin, might have been scribbled on the back of his wife's shirt. Who knows where he wrote them? But Agnes has a copy. We're going to talk about those are out of that book. Agnes Vivarelli, by the way.
Hello, Dan. Hello. Good to see you again, as always.
As to you too.
Dan and I both worked out that we're the O blood type prior to this, so we were very excited.
We are, in fact, it's funny, and we're not going to get off on that tangent too far, but we realized there's some very similar dietary concerns, not concerns, question, whatever. There's certain foods that tend to affect us in weird ways, and we're oddly in line. And then she just goes,
said that cork us.
Cork us is exactly what I've said. Trying to be cool, but and then Agnes is like, "Are you O blood type?" I was like, "What? Huh? How? Yeah, I am." And that's super rare to be an O blood type. So it was just kind of funny. And then we started talking about it. So something to it, maybe, but certainly Agnes and I see some validity, at least in our similar blood types and what some of that literature says. So as a side, if any of you have food issues, it might be something you can look into. Anyway, not the topic.
We'll put the link to the O blood type book down below because it's been very helpful.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you don't still have it handy. You should show the title really quick.
I don't. It's in my bag, but I will put the link.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then if you've got another blood type, you can go in and look at what foods are really good for you too and which ones to avoid. Because it's not one diet fits all. Different blood types reject and accept different foods. So back to Neville.
Yes, back to Neville.
At Your Command. This book is a very, very skinny little book that has a lot of good nuggets in it. So today we're going to
Who's the author of that book? Is that Neville Goddard?
Yeah.
At Your Command? Oh, nice.
Neville.
That is so cool. The lightning bolts, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
So he says, prayer to be successful must be claiming rather than begging. So if you would pray for riches, turn from your picture of poverty by denying the very evidence of your senses and assume the nature of being wealthy. So shut the door is shutting out what I am now aware of being and claiming myself to be that which I desire to be. So you're shutting the door on poverty and you are opening the door to feeling wealthy. The very moment my claim is established to the point of conviction, that moment I begin to draw unto myself the evidence of my claim. So what do you think, Dan?
Well, a couple things jump out at me. It's funny. So first off, I love the claiming and begging. I think that is just a huge jump out. So let's grab on that for a second. And there's a second one I think we can jump to in a moment. But claiming and begging is you and I as coaches and whatnot spend a lot of time talking to people, and claiming and begging are two different avenues that people come from. And the begging side is usually the loudest, usually the ones that are having the most frustrated at time, usually the ones that aren't being very successful, the ones that maybe stopped seeing things happening, having a hard time visualizing now, don't know why, used to be able to. The begging side is a very different energy. And I think what he's talking about is really shifting from a needy begging, like, give me please, I wanted more life itself, to a, I own this. This is my reality to claim because I'm creating it. It's a very different mindset.
You sounded like the Minions.
Thank you. I've been working on it. I thought it was pretty good. Did I nail it?
Can you do it?
Damn,
Can you do it one more time?
I'm cutting that voiceover now. I'm doing it after this show, and I'm going to send it off and see what happens.
Do it again.
I don't even think I could. I don't remember what voice that was.
It was
talking just then. I'm sorry.
Little voice. But it is the energy of begging when you pray.
Right? And so from your standpoint, like, I mean, you talk to more people than I do. What are some of the things you notice? Maybe we can help identify some common traits of what's a beggar versus someone that's claiming. Maybe. I don't know. I just think that would be worth spending a couple minutes on here.
Great. Really good. Okay. Let's use first the money one as an example, and then we'll do a relationship one because they're always, the top two, money, work, and love, are the top
Right.
sort of 2 or 3 subjects.
Is there anything else?
Yeah. So when you pray in a begging style, you know, please God, can you just send me some more money? I need more money. I don't have enough money to, you know, for food, to pay my bills, to pay my debts, to pay my rent, to pay my mortgage. Please help me. That's a begging prayer. Now, if you're going to change that prayer into a claiming prayer, it would be, I know this is an abundant universe. I give thanks in advance for the money, the riches, the wealth that comes to me now in avalanches and in a perfect way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a claiming prayer. So they're different, but they're going around the circle different ways. But one is effective and one is ineffective. One is coming from lack and one is coming from expectancy and knowing that the channels will open and come to me. So
and I will say really quick too.
Yeah.
I have to quote the great and mighty MC Hammer.
Yep.
That's why we pray, right? Because that's the whole point. That's the song. That's, by the way, I don't want to sing the whole song. So there's like a background people. I need a whole chorus. That's why we pray.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that being said, it's that you've got that. We're doing this for a reason, right? So in the case of your money and this desperation, it's like, oh, the focus on the bills, focus on the negative, focus on all the things that are not going right. Again, it's a focus-based universe. Agnes and I talk about this all the time.
Yep.
So you're so focused on the negative aspects that you're begging for someone to save you. Have this person be delivered unto me so my life can be better. And it's like, yeah, whoa, you need to grab the reins of this horse that's running wild right now and actually try to control where it's going.
Yeah.
That is when you realize, oh yeah, no, I'm focusing on remembering when I didn't have any money. And like, you know, some of the things we've talked about is you start going into that more claiming ownership of your life and what your outcome is, and realizing that's your destiny because you're focusing on it. So maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe a whatever, right? Maybe the new job's 3 months out. You're finally getting all your stuff together and getting all the crap worn off. And now all of a sudden someone bumped into you at the coffee shop, you know, and they're like, hey, you know, so-and-so's hiring right now. And I think you'd probably be really good. And you're like, whoa, never even thought of that. Job is yours. Again, I want people to realize that sometimes we focus so much on those steps in between that we forget that those steps in between they're blinks, they're snaps. It depends on where you are is what that step in between is going to be. So if you're taking ownership of your life, that step in between might just be someone popping into your life saying, hey, did you know? And if not, maybe if you believe you've got to work hard at it, then maybe your step in between is going to be this job and this job and this job and this job. And eventually you get it. Either way, it's going towards your focus. And that's how we get from that place. I didn't want to, I've got a second thing I'll say on money, but we'll come back to that. Go for it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just going to dominate the show.
No, it's fine. It's good. I mean, this stuff sprouts a lot of questions and a lot of, you know, side.
Well, on that same topic, I think one of the things that a lot of us experience and how that can also manifest on the money side is when you look at something and you're like, I can't afford that, or I'd like to build it. And it's not that you can't afford it. It's see yourself doing it, see yourself enjoying it, see yourself getting to that place where I don't see the money of it as much. And I think a lot of us, we have that shift where everything costs money or everything. It's a very different thing. And I've talked about, actually in a couple of my own videos, I've brought up you, and we even mentioned it on a video we did together, but you went down to Australia. You needed to get a week's worth of boarding, essentially.
Oh,
You could have done Airbnb. You could have done any number of things, right?
Yep.
And you could have manifested the money to have a place to stay.
Yep.
But you didn't. You manifested a place to stay. And your friend happened to need a cat sitter and had a nice house for you to stay at. It was a beautiful experience. And all you had to do was take care of a cat, which in my opinion sounds pretty easy. And you were telling me you were buddies with the cat anyway.
And I wasn't picking up dog poo-poo, which I'm not a fan of.
Thank you. I'm not a fan of that either. Thank you very much.
No, not for someone. If it was your own dog, okay, maybe, but someone else's, no.
So that's kind of my point with the money. I agree with you 100%. It's the way our thought process is about stuff is really the claiming, begging, and that's where which way are you coming at it from? And if you're coming at it from a claiming, I own this because this is my reality, versus please help me.
Yeah.
That's a very different thing. So maybe one of the reasons you're not succeeding isn't that you're doing techniques wrong or any of that, but maybe the way you're coming at it, energetically anyway, might not be the best.
Yes. And that brings us to the next example of the begging or the claiming in a relationship in terms of prayer. So you go, okay, please God, or please universe, whatever word you want to use, please let me be with this person. I love them and I really want to be with them. And I'm tired of missing them and I'm tired of being lonely and I'm tired. Can I please just have that person? Begging prayer, claiming prayer. Thank you in advance for my wonderful relationship with a wonderful person. My self-love is here to give to them, and I will receive the love that they have coming in my direction. I love this relationship. Thank you in advance for our connection, for our meeting, for our fun, and for our wonderful times that are to be. And you give thanks in advance. It is done. And then you let that go. Much more confident, much more strong, less desperate, much more with faith and belief and conviction. So there's the example for that.
I think it's brilliant. And I think, again, it kind of follows the same principles. You made a really, really powerful statement, I think, and I'd like to hear you speak a little more on this. I certainly got my thoughts on this, but I think this is a great side salad. But you said my self-love is here to give to them, or kind of also, I think I put a slash myself, because I think what we're sending out is what we're getting back. But I thought that was kind of brilliant how you're stating the self-love that we work so hard on isn't so much just so we love ourselves. No, it's what we're giving out as well. It's like, a lot of us, you give to others what you want to get back. Just some of us psychologically do that. Like a lot of times when we love partners, sometimes we give them love and affection in the ways that we want it returned, rather than necessarily giving love and affection the way they want us.
Yes.
And so it is kind of a funny little shift, but it does happen. And that's kind of, I think, a great aspect that I hadn't ever thought of anyway, about what self-love also is. It's not just saying, hey, I love myself enough to expect the best and not settle for less, and not settle for people that are not good for me or whatever, right? Not settle for a job where I got a boss that's a jerkhole. Like none of those things are necessarily going to benefit you. So you don't, self-love kind of sometimes picks your own self up by the bootstraps and says, dude, no, not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So that, I don't know. I don't know if you've got anything to add to that, but I thought that was a really cool view of what self-love also is.
No, I don't have anything to add. You just said it really well.
I'm really sorry.
I usually do, but I don't.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, you already said it perfectly. So it was just me catching up. Let's just be honest.
No, it's really interesting, this whole thing of how he dissects the two types of prayer, begging and claiming. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the bit that jumped out for me, is how do you pray? If you pray, is it from desperation, or is it from, I'm going to, and this book is called At Your Command, Commands and Demands. And Florence Scovel Shinn talks about prayers and about commands and demands, where you say she used the word infinite spirit, open the way for my amazing relationship. I am ready and I am here. Thank you in advance. Bang, you launch that command with force.
Yeah, because you realize you are the creator.
Yeah.
I hate to get crazy. I'm not going to get biblical here, but there is this phrase where they say you are made in his image and likeness, right? And I think one of the things that's speaking to is that we are creators also. I'm not saying we're the best creator. I'm not saying anything crazy like that, but
creators
we've been endowed with the ability to create our own reality.
Yeah.
And law of attraction, the secret, all these things, that's what they're talking about, is just taking ownership of your focus.
Yep.
And it's a very, very powerful way to enhance. And I love, too, the way that it's been broken down. A command, not get off. You said command and demand, right? So those, I agree. That's that ownership of my reality. I understand that what I'm putting out is mine. And that's why we don't question it. That's kind of where Goddard talks about just letting go, because you've already made the command. It's yours to have.
Exactly. But then you've got to stay in that established point of conviction, which is, I am someone who has money. I am someone that has a great relationship. I am someone that creates, and I am standing here firm in the feeling place, as Abraham Hicks would say, the state, as Neville would say, place of being, how you be. You don't walk around like a little poor person and shuffling around, you know, with like, somebody help me. You power up, you stand up, and you go, right, I am loved, and I am wealthy, and I'm worthy, and I am deserving. That's who I am, and I'm going to stay in that state by how I think about myself.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It is how we hold ourselves. It is understanding that there is a brighter tomorrow. You know, what's funny is I'm going to backtrack a small bit, but oddly, we were going to talk about a different topic today, the pruning shears. And I just want to bring up the one small thing, but
yes,
there's one part of the phrase that was in there is a way to improve quality of your life day by day. It's kind of, his quote was, if really lived, it will change my tomorrows. And really what that means is when I look at, however today went, irrelevant. When I look at it and say, all right, here's how I could improve it. Here's a better way it could go. Here's a better way my tomorrow could be. Here's a better way that my girl might see me, or here's a better way that my boss might see me. Here's a better way. Let me revise that thought. Let me get it better. Let me take steps towards a better thought, a happier tomorrow. And what you find when you do that is you do start to walk around rather than all hunched over and body language sad, me. You're up, you're about, you're interacting with people, you're happy. And by the way, if you're going to get another job, walking around as Humpty Dump ain't going to get you the job. You've got to actually be the person they want to hire, be the person they want to promote. So you can't be, oh, I'm upset, my boss said, okay, well, you're probably never getting promoted now with that little sourpuss attitude. No, ain't happening. Step it up.
Rather than,
look out. Go ahead.
What's the job going to give me? Money, security, a workplace, somewhere to belong. Look at, when I get there, what am I going to give to this place rather than what am I going to get from it? If you go forward in life, whether it's around a job, around money, around being with friends, around being with a specific person, an ex, your family member that you've had trouble with, if you come from that place of what can I give to something rather than what can I get from something, you will have a totally different experience in what gets photocopied and what comes back to you.
That is really funny too, because if you look at it, that's basically claiming and begging as well.
Yes.
Right? So when I'm expecting it to be given to me, or what are they going to give to me? You're a beggar. You're a taker. You're someone that's, not necessarily bringing anything to the game. And so not necessarily being someone that's going to benefit or get promoted but when you look at it as, here is my place to offer what I've got to help this company, or even in my case too, what I'll often do, and I think it's helped a lot, is how can I help this company? But two, how can I grow within this company and get even better? How can I even take it to the next notch for me?
Nice.
And so it's like, on top of that, I'm expanding myself. And I think that is one of the key things in relationships, in anything, is expansion. If you're stuck at this plateau and that's all you can see, and you're not willing to do anything else except try to imagine a better life, you're not probably going to expand yourself. You need to bump your head against the ceiling once in a while to realize, crap, I got to get around that.
Yes.
So I think it's very important to kind of, again, claiming and begging, I think, is such a powerful, for 3 words, I guess if we count the and in front, in the middle. But for 3 words, we're doing an entire show on it. And I think it's a powerful, simple way people can question what they're doing. And so I guess the question I always hear often is, all right, what if I'm a beggar? I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are. No. But maybe your friend. What if your friend's a beggar? How do you help them? Or what are ways that maybe we can start to shift some of our beggar ways? You got any thoughts on that?
Well, I think you can do the imaginal work where you imagine someone self-sufficient, because the beggar archetype is about looking for support all the time. you got your hand out going, I need help, I need support, I need money, I need you to give me. It is a gimme thing. And there are archetypes. There are different archetypes. I'm actually going to interview someone very soon whose whole work is the archetypes.
Oh, cool.
Which will be really interesting, because we're talking about this today. But the beggar is always trying to get and trying to take. So if you are trying to help somebody that's in that state, it's not about giving them the fish, it's teaching them how to fish. This is the thing that we have to, because I know I've helped people by giving them a fish, and I haven't really helped them because they come back for the second fish. So I have actually not helped them really in the long run. I've helped them in the short term and not in the long term. So
that reminds me of sort of a bad, funny joke, and it's not dirty. It's just
go
wrong.
ahead.
I'm going to do it. But the whole adage, as people know, I did a stand-up. It's usually linked on my show notes. Not very good necessarily, but I do think. But anyway, you teach a man to fish, right? They always say, give a man a fish, feed him for a night.
Yes.
Teach a man to fish, feed him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Build a fire for a man, keep him warm for a night. Catch a man on fire, keep him warm his whole life.
Catch a man on fire.
That's wrong. I know. Da-da-da. So anyway, had to.
Oh, God.
So,
well, a side salad is always the way to go.
It is part of our show. It's late in the show, so if you've made it, come on now.
Yeah, so I think if you're going to really help someone that's got that in them, and when I look back at myself, I had that in me a lot when I was in debt. I was feeling overworked, not making much money. My health was suffering. I was really looking to people to help me.
Injured, by the way, too.
Yes.
So when you think about when we lower ourselves down like that, that's when we are prone to injury, because our whole energetics of ourselves, as I like to crazy talk about, but the way we are is so down that shitty things happen. Sorry, but bummer things happen all the time.
Things, they do, Dan. And I still had help me when I injured my back, and I had assistance from at the time different things around me to assist me to get well, whether that was people, whether that was financial, whether that was friends, whether that was my partner. My partner helped me a lot at that time to recover. So all those things, when I look back, I had that part of myself active at that time because I was coming out of having smashed myself. So I think the best way you can help somebody, when I look back at my situation at that time, you can have compassion, but also get them to help themselves, like my partner did with me. He helped me do physio. He helped me with my exercises. He helped me talk out, while I was still in a lot of physical pain from my lower back injury. He just let me talk. So you can help people by just listening and that they feel heard. And then maybe it's a case of send them a YouTube or give them a really good book to read that helps them in that particular state that they're in, to help them winch themselves out mentally. Because if you winch yourself out mentally, then you can winch yourself out emotionally and physically.
And that just made me think of the when we're trying to, for people that are maybe in this more begging side of life and trying to figure out how one can identify. I think we've hopefully helped illustrate that. But then if I am kind of coming at it more from a begging side, how do I change that? How do I look at these behaviors and maybe try to, turn that frown upside down, right? How do I change the course of my current tomorrow to something that's actually a better, revised, pruned tomorrow that's going to make me start to feel better, start to get me out of this funk for sure. And what I think is a lot of people, you want something. There's something that you're looking for in what it is that you're manifesting. We're going to go with people for the moment just because it's so popular, but jobs is the same too.
Yeah.
And then people, you're looking for something they make you happy. You're not happy without them. I have this whole, whatever it is that they provide you, you need to be that yourself.
Yes.
And even towards them. Like, I'm going to be a provider myself. I don't need a provider. I'm going to provide for myself, and I'll have enough to even help provide for him and I.
Yep.
That's when you're starting to kind of go more from the begging, claiming. I am claiming ownership of my life, my happiness, my way of life, my money, my whatever. And
Yep.
I'm taking you out of that equation. You don't need to do that anymore for me. I'm going to do that for me.
Yep.
And when you start to look at it more from that standpoint, you start to take ownership of the things that are beggarish, like the things that are what are holding you back. And you're owning your own life, your own happiness, emotions, your own career, your own future, because you realize whatever it is right now. And this is the thing I frequently talk about. And I think it's funny, not you're like a silly people. No, it's just funny in how easy it is. But really, if right now sucks, that's why a lot of us are watching Law of Attraction. We're trying to improve our right now.
Yes.
So your tomorrow's got to get better, and you've got to keep that my tomorrow gets better. I'm not saying you're going to instantly manifest tomorrow what it is you want. In fact, if you're more from the beggarish side, I would probably offer yourself a little more time than what's tomorrow. But I would say, look at tomorrow and go, what is tomorrow going to show me that's better than today was? What am I going to see tomorrow that I'm going to go, that was cool. I'm glad I did this. And then do that again before you go to bed at night, right? Think about what went right today. What did I enjoy today? And how could that be a little better? How could I enhance that? How could maybe someone pissed you off. How could I act differently with this person tomorrow and maybe not have the same interaction with them? Not how can I change them? How can I stop them? No. How can I behave differently and own my own life? Huge difference.
And that is what we were
pick yourself up.
And that's what we were going to talk about originally, was the pruning shears of revision. And we will do more on that on another show. But you can do the revision, and Neville talks about revising your day, how you could have improved it, as a wonderful thing to do before bed. You go through any conversations you had, you went to the gym and you shortcutted a bit because you were too tired. You went out for coffee.
On the things that went well.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Again, focus-based universe. And it's a technique to force you to look at what's going right versus what's going wrong. And so many are like, I'm not happy because he's not with me. Well, what do you like to do? What can make me happy? What can I do to be happy? What do I like? Like, that shift in thought will change your entire world when you start to go, what can I do to own my own happiness and be my own happiness? Just because we were going to talk about the pruning shears, that was a great way to kind of shift ourselves into it. So it just worked out as a nice how these two topics, I think, kind of align. And maybe our next, we can do another one a little more in depth
about the pruning shears of revision.
Focus on the good stuff, man. Stop focusing on what's not going right, or they got a third party, or they're not doing this, or they're grumpy, or they're no, take it
claim rather than beg. Claim in your prayers and in your thoughts processes. Work on getting better at claiming rather than that begging stuff we've been talking about today. I think that's a really good way to start to shift yourself out of being a victim or feeling that you're not treated with respect or whatever it is. This is a way to rise up, and you can do that on your own, in your own space. When you go to bed, in the shower, when you have a moment where you're alone, you just sit and you say, right, I'm going to practice claiming, and I'm going to step away from the begging.
Exactly. Wow, she just touched me. Did you guys see that? She just touched me. Her hand came through my camera and smacked me in the face. It was awesome.
Okay, let's go. We amuse ourselves.
We more than probably anyone else, and we're sorry. And thank you for coming along with us on our fun little journey. No, I think I think we covered the crud out of this topic, and I hope we've helped kind of show the difference between these two ideologies, claiming and begging, and also maybe offered some ways that we can start to proactively assist ourselves. And maybe you're not being successful. It's not the way you're doing the techniques. I frequently tell people, a lot of the times it's that underlying belief, that underlying thing. And that's what you start looking at, that you start to find where your problem is, and then bam, life changes, and can change overnight. I did a video not long ago where it's like, it can all change. You can wake up tomorrow and literally that could be the day. So I've seen crazy things happen, phone calls out of the blue, people just text you and like, hey, are you blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow. Okay. So it can in one day change.
It can. It can, but you've got, like you said, get the underlying thing right, and then
start shifting it to the claim. Claim your life, own your life.
And before we go, can you do the minion again?
I don't know if I could do the voice. I don't remember the voice. I should watch the Minions more. I apologize. Next time we record, I'll watch the Minions and I'll nail down one of their voices for you. How about that?
Please.
Right, I got that. Help the listen.
Just for me. Even if no one else wants to see it, it's for me.
It's funny. I did a character development class for improv a while back, and we had to come up with 4 different characters. And so I had to come up with voices, but then not lose that voice. So that was always the hard part. You almost have to build a personality around it. But anyway,
exactly.
That's a side topic, but it kind of works. So anyway, I had a few of those. It was funny.
Lovely. Well, there we go. Subject done for today. And it's, I always love Neville's words. Always something to ponder and break down and look at from different angles, and then apply what he said to your own life. I love that. It's endlessly fun.
He was so good at taking a small number of words and writing something that meant
you just go, wow,
volumes more. Like, I have to read this 8 times because there should be 8 times more words to explain what he's talking about.
Yes.
It's so succinct. It's so brilliant how he does it. And I love it. I do
too. I do too.
With you. Neville Nugget, as always.
A little Neville Nugget.
At your command, which I kind of feel is, a good way just to live life in general.
It is.
How can I be of service?
How can I be of service? Thank you, everybody, for spending some time with us.
Appreciate it as always, too, Agnes. You're the best. And thank you, everybody. I love you guys. Please comment, share, all that good stuff. We love it. So thank you so much.
We'll put the links to all the weird stuff we talked about down below.
Yes, definitely.
See you in the next YouTube.